Another option for smoothing your 3D prints, and you can hold the airbrush this time. Still super easy, super effective, and I've got it for you in today's video, and it's coming up next. What's up, everyone? Back at it again. It is DW Darkwing Dad. Yes, I am giving you yet another option for smoothing your 3D prints. I've had some great feedback with my Bondo putty airbrushing method. I've had some others who have struggled with it, couldn't find the right airbrush, didn't have the right setup, were a little hesitant of spraying the acetone. So this method is definitely one for you. So this is something I came across when I was recently doing my Punisher War Machine suit. I had some deep defects and I knew that the Bondo putty just wasn't going to fill it in enough. I didn't feel like whipping out the body filler and spreading all that on. I just wanted something that was nice and quick and easy. So what I'm going to be doing today is taking Bondo plastic metal and reducing it down with a little bit of acetone and actually brushing it on the model. We're going to be showing you a small segment here on my Moon Knight mask. If you've never used it, it's in a lot of my videos. Go check those out. Today I'm going to kind of recap what the product is and just how awesome this method works. So without any further ado, let's get set up and let me show you this process. All right, so Bondo plastic metal, what is it? It's a body filler. Very similar to these guys here, your Bondo body filler and your U-Pull Dolphin Glaze. However, Bondo plastic metal already has the hardener built into it. You don't have to worry about messing with hardeners and ratios and things like that and mixing it all up. One reason a lot of people struggle with these and complain about these is because they add way too much hardener, they catalyze and harden way too quick, and then they're super hard to sand down. A lot of people hate using these and are afraid to use them. The reality is body fillers are absolutely awesome when you use them in the right aspect. If you go and try to use a putty on something that's too deep, it'll crack, it'll shrink, it won't fill in the gap the right way, or when you spray a filler primer on there, it'll reactivate it and you'll get into cracking and adhesion problems and all kinds of stuff. This body filler doesn't do that. This is a perfectly pre-mixed body filler that is meant to fill in deeper defects. And the reason why it's called plastic metal is it actually has bits and pieces of aluminum in it. So if you're looking for a body filler that's super strong, that's going to reinforce your model a little bit, this is an absolutely great option. I actually use it in an entire build. It was my Boba Fett build. Link will be in the description. We're still going to use this in a similar aspect, but a little bit different, so let me show you. All right, so first things first, I'm going to put some gloves on just because we're going to be pouring some acetone into a cup and mixing this all up. Now, plastic metal is a little bit different. If you try to use this method with some other body fillers that have a hardener, it's just not going to work the same. This is a very unique formula. So this whole method of brushing this on with the acetone, reducing it down, is pretty much proprietary to this Bondo plastic metal. But with the acetone mixing here, you're going to have a nice long work time. You're going to be able to reactivate it if you need to. And it's going to help fill in those deeper defects that maybe putty isn't quite applicable for. Now, this stuff does have a shelf life. So once you crack this seal, if you let this sit for too long, it will eventually all harden over time. I found anything more than 2 months, it's pretty much going to be not really usable.
Do it.
Kind of liquefying it here. So I'm just mixing this up until I get it to a nice consistency. All right, so on this helmet, I really haven't sanded any of this. I didn't want to sand it because I wanted to show you the filling abilities of this method. So if you want to sand it, great, that's going to speed it up. If you are trying to, I guess, keep definitive properties or just save time and you don't feel like sanding it, this is still a great option. A filler is going to be able to be put on a lot thicker and it's going to fill in those PLA lines substantially quicker. However, you don't want to load this on. This stuff here you want to put on mildly thick, but not too thick. I'll kind of show you in the process here, sir. And again, what's nice about this is if this starts to solidify or get maybe too thick, just add a little bit of acetone and you're going to be able to reactivate that and bring it back to life. All right, so we've got a pretty good consistency here. You still want it to drip. You don't want it like super, super thick. I say maybe you want the thickness of somewhere like a house paint. It's too runny, all it's going to be is acetone and it's really not going to fill much. It's more or less just going to potentially eat away your model or warp it a little bit. So we want a little bit in there, but not a ton. And I'm just going to kind of drag this along this piece here. Now this is a great model because there's so many definitive areas, but you just want to kind of paint it on. You can see it dries pretty quick, so even if you do have it I guess a little bit runny, the additives in this react relatively quick. Now, there are a little bit of fumes here. And I know I've taken some slack before for using acetone and you know, people were freaking out because I was aerating it. Of course, we know acetone's also in filler primers, and I've seen a lot of people not wear masks, or the right masks, when they're spraying. So in my shed here, I've got windows open, I got a fan going, always within arm's reach. So I am gonna put it on close to your face, so you can definitely smell some fumes. So if you're worried about that, you should definitely wear one. So I have one, I'm gonna put it on. This method is really great because it's already dry, minutes, and it's dry, you know what I mean? And this is gonna be a lot thicker than using a putty. Small section here, put my respirator on, let it sit. We should be ready to sand it in 4 to 6 minutes. So let me get this on a small little section here, and we'll check it out in a minute. Quick application. Of course, if you have a bigger cup, it would be a little bit easier. I just didn't want to mix my putty bowl with the Bondo plastic metal. I didn't want it to affect the filling or give mediocre results. The fumes aren't as bad, but the Bondo filler does have some additives in it, so the odor is a little bit stronger. I recommend, you know, wearing a respirator. Again, I'm out in my hot box here, so we got some good airflow. Always want to play it safe, guys. Goggles, gloves, all those things, make sure you have them.
Safety first!
At this, you can already tell how much this is filled in, and it's dry to the touch. Like we're ready to sand this. A huge benefit, you know, when using acetone is it just dries so quick. Most of you guys know if you use the Bondo putty, it takes maybe 20 minutes or so before you can sand it. If you put it on thicker, even longer. With this stuff, it really doesn't matter. I mean, 5-6 minutes and you're ready to sand. I'll go in the shade and just show you how easy this sands down and how well it fills in there. All right, going old school here on the grass. So I got some old recycled 220. Just go ahead and sand this down. You can go more aggressive if you want. I guess it just depends on what layer height that you use. This was 0.36. It was printed pretty fast. So we can see here that it sands down pretty darn good with just some 220. Like I said, that's a big advantage to this body filler. It's not like the traditional Bondo with the red or blue hardener, and it's a nightmare to sand. All I did here was hit it with 220. It's smoothing it out really good. I'm gonna throw some filler primer on this and just see how smooth it actually got it. Have a look at the area here. My primer started getting low, started spitting out some trash. So you can see here, I mean, I pretty much started sanding right here, and minus these couple specks here, I kind of stopped. You can see I didn't go too hard right there. Here to here, I mean, that's pretty smooth. And keep in mind, I did not sand this helmet before. Just applied the filler acetone mix, sanded it with 220, and then did 2 coats of primer here. Like, obviously it's filler primer, you know, we're using Bondo, and that does fill it in a little bit, but you can use other stuff. Duplicolor, they're a great one. Krylon 2-in-1, not too bad. I am not a fan of Rust-Oleum 2-in-1, so I tend to stay away from that. But yeah, just, you know, a good filler primer. You know, obviously it's something that you kind of need when you're doing 3D prints. My opinion kind of eliminates a step, and I'm actually going to do this entire helmet, this whole process. I'm not going to sand any of this. This was an area here where this was actually a failed print, and I used the Bondo plastic metal and some glazing putty to eliminate the seam, and now here we are smoothing this whole thing out with just the Bondo plastic metal. So obviously a lot more work to do on that. To show you my new method I stumbled across. Not too bad. So with all of that said and done, let's recap and wrap up this video. have it, just another way that you can effectively and efficiently smooth your 3D prints. Taking something old that has been done in the past, using the Bondo glazing putty with a brush. This time around, we are using the Bondo plastic metal. As far as effectiveness and efficiency goes, I mean, you really can't beat this method. Looking at this, finished Moon Knight helmet here, I didn't do any sanding.
It looked really good.
Initial PLA. Now, everything else, I mean, on this, this does have the textured look. I like to do that with the Moon Knight helmet, but other than up here where I had to do a lot of sanding because this was printed upside down, I mean, this thing looks awesome in 3 steps. I mean, that's all it took. Obviously, if you want to do an initial sand on your print, depending on what layer height it's at, you can absolutely do that. This was printed at a 0.36, so this was rough. This process works and it's absolutely awesome. One benefit that you're gonna have using the Bondo plastic metal over the glazing putty that I spoke of is this is a filler. So you're gonna be able to put this on a little bit thicker. It's gonna fill in those PLA lines and those defects a lot better. Of course, you do have to be careful if you have defined areas and things like that. You don't want to put it on too heavy. Body fillers are always great for filling in heavier defects. Obviously, adding the acetone, it's going to thin it down, make it a little bit thinner, but still keep that density. And this Bondo plastic metal is absolutely awesome. Even if you're trying to get a little bit more durability out of your helmet, this is going to be a great option. So in addition to removing those defects, those PLA lines, smoothing it out, the Bondo plastic metal is also going to add a little bit of rigidness and durability. It is an awesome product. If you're looking to save a little bit of time and still get great results, definitely try this method out. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and if you did, go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions on anything done in the video, go ahead and drop me a comment. I'll hit you back. If you're a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much. I do appreciate all your guys' views. I do appreciate all the feedback that you guys give me. If you are not a subscriber to the channel and you enjoy all things 3D printing, cosplay, DIY, Marvel, Funko, all the stuff we're doing on here, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I have a lot more videos. I'm always trying to come up with new ways to help you guys finish your 3D prints. I was able to knock this thing out in about 2 days. Awesome time. That's dry time, painting everything. So I hope you guys like that. And obviously, if you do, let me know by dropping me a thumbs up. Any and all products that I use, links will be in the description with my affiliate links. Go ahead and get those products. I do get a small kickback, which I greatly appreciate. Again, we also have the super thanks button, so if you want to contribute anything to the channel, it is just going to help me bring out more videos, pump out more content, do more giveaways to each and every one of my subscribers like you. Make sure you drop me a comment. Let me know what you think of the process. Make sure you share with everyone else and let them know DW sent you. But that's it for now, guys. I gotta get working on the next project, the next edit, the list of things I gotta get done so I can bring you new and exciting content. So for now, DW out. Later.